So in this video, I am doing a secret garden journal, and I'm going to use this skirt, some of my scrapbook papers, and a signature that I already had pre-made and didn't know what to do with. So I'll do two. I'm going to use my sewing machine and try not to make it too rocky for you, and show you how I construct the top. I'll just give you a little bit of an idea. I didn't go through the whole construction of it because frankly my video skills with one hand is not very good, and the tripod, just I haven't figured out how in my small room to locate it so that it makes it worthwhile for the video. But this is a little bit of showing you here what we're going to do. This is the cover, and I'll show you how I began. I started off with a hanging file folder and my signature, and I've been watching watercolor videos lately, and I've really wanted to try to get into making a cover using watercolors. I don't have a plan yet for that, but I did make a journal without anything on the cover, which you'll see at the end when I do a flip through, so that I could maybe do some watercolor. It's watercolor paper. So this tacky glue didn't want to come out of the bottle. I always have a fight with these glue bottles, no matter what they are. I watch people take like a cake decorating tube and container that you would use put icing in, and it just comes out so nice, and it never works out for me. But anyways, this is the sewing, and I'm working with some ribbons, and I thought maybe it would be nice to put some batting to make it even softer and make this cover even softer. But because I was so far into sewing things down, I decided just to keep going with what I was doing. And that flower with the blue beads on it, that is a pull that people used to put on their shades. They used to have these pulls. I had some when I first got married, and it was crocheted, and I finally found a good use for that. Now, I'm not running over my finger. I'm experienced sewer. I'm going very slow because I don't want to hit those silver, oh, what are they called? I can't think of what they're called now, but when I hit them, which I did, they break the needle and cause trouble. So very slow here. And that's it for the sewing, because I'm not good at photography with that. So I have the liner here that doesn't fit, and I'm going to line it on the edges with this beautiful authentic, I think that's how you say it, or authentic scrapbook paper. I wished I could find some more of that. So far I haven't been able to, just so that the edges will peek through. So I'm just remembering to use my gloves for a change, because I just got my nails done, and that 3-in-1 glue will ruin your nails. So enough with the sewing, now with the gluing. We're going to glue, and I doubled up. I used both the stick glue and the 3-in-1 glue. I don't know why I did, I just did. So I'm just curling this up at the bottom because it looks like I misjudged it, and I want that blue flowery paper to show, because I just think it's so sweet, that the blue and a little bit of teal in there. So found my bone folder, yay, using that, and on a roll here, get this all nice and smoothed out. And once I'm done with this, I thought, maybe I could put a pocket in. But this is the watercolored paper, and I decided against it because I wanted lots of space because I'm putting this on eBay. It's already on eBay, actually. So if you want to go over to Bradsboots Secret Garden Journal on eBay, you'll find it. And it's a reasonable price too, considering that you can see this is just a little bit of the work that it takes to make the journal. And if you already make journals, well, then you know. But for those of you who don't, it takes quite a bit, and you can't always, sometimes you can finish one in one day, but if you don't have the idea in your head, for me, it just doesn't flow, and then I come to a stop. I did have to do that with the cover, but then I picked up today and I was able to take off. That's why I had the signatures set aside, because I wasn't sure for the cover. And if you don't have, for me, if I don't have the cover already planned, sometimes the cover is what makes the springboard for my whole journal project. If I have an idea for a cover, I'm good. Sometimes I'll shop, and if I see fabric, the first thing I'll think of, when I saw that fabric, that green fabric with the silver, I thought this would make a really cool cover. So I've had that for, I don't know, a year or so, and I finally pulled it out and decided I was going to make something work with this fabric, or I was going to give it away because I hadn't cut into it yet. It's a skirt that I got at a thrift store, and I'm trying to slowly get rid of or use up my stuff, but I find that I have this big pile of stuff, and it's almost like leftovers. When you cook and you have lots of leftovers, you kind of get tired of using or eating the same thing. That's kind of how it is with this big package of leftover papers that I have. I want to put them away, but another part of me wants to use them and not keep piles and piles and piles of everything. I want to downsize, but I can't throw away. And I don't know anybody else who does do journals except for my granddaughter. And I'm always giving her little stuff. But I mean, I have a lot of stuff that I bought too much of in the beginning. I wish that I had have slowed down. And I told myself to slow down, but I didn't listen. So back to this. We got this nice liner, and I'm feeling like that little middle section right there needed something right in there. I was going to leave it, and I had an idea, but I wasn't cemented in. I didn't like it. So I took my Secret Garden book and I tore out these words, and I sewed them, and I'm fastening them right here. And then my cover is perfectly imperfect, just the way a junk journal cover should be, perfectly imperfect. So this, I realized while I was doing this that I always leave the cap off of my glue bottles and my glue sticks. And the reason why I do that is because I'm a multitasker. I'm thinking so fast that I put it down because I'm on to the next thought already. Does anybody else do that? It's just like when someone's talking and you want to say something, but you're trying to be a good listener and you don't want to forget what you have to say. And then by the time they get done talking, if they talk long, then you forget what you had to say, and it's a new topic. Well, that's how it is with me and the glue. It rolls around on my desk, dribbles everywhere, and it's all because I don't stop and put the caps on. Trying to remember that throughout this project right here. Okay, so this is the back that I originally was going to put in the front. I just took it's actually a stencil holder, and I sewed some wording from a book. I can't remember what the book is from now. I think it was, what's that? Little Women. I think it's Little Women. And then I put a little bit of coffee dyed cheesecloth on the bottom just to decorate it up a little bit. And I'm going to put this on the back. And I was going to use some crocodile work here. So that's what I'm doing. And then I ended up feeding the piece of fabric through it. Instead of doing a big thick ribbon, I did the fabric. And I think you can see that on the, you'll see that in the end when we do the flip through. Now, this is sometimes a challenge for me, this binding. This is a 5-hole pamphlet stitch, and I have to keep my notes in front of me. And it's a process, and I'm keeping it real here, and I'm showing you it can be a struggle sometimes for me. The first one that I did, I'm doing 2 journals right now, and the first one that I did, it went very smoothly, so smoothly I couldn't believe it. And this one, I think some of it is because I have the lots of lace and some thickness to the area that I'm trying to poke the ice pick through. I have my really neat Coca-Cola ice pick that my husband got for me, I think, I want to say for Christmas, I don't know, remember. And it's nice and sharp, and it was used to pick ice, so it's got to be sharp, right? Now, mistake right here I made. This is the center, and I have folded up the bottom because I didn't want to lose the picture from this 1913 cover of what is it called? Attitude? I don't know, I'm not good at that pronunciation, but yeah, so what I should have done is I should have flipped that down before I put the holes in. I think I was just, when you're filming you forget things anyways, but I was so intent on doing a good job and making it nice and smooth. It's all I was focused on. And I said, let me get this done, and then afterwards I was like, you know, I should have stopped and flipped that right down. Okay, so I'm counting. I start in the middle, and then I make a middle of the last 2. So that's how I try to keep it even. And I'm using hemp cord, which is something I think I got for 25 cents at the thrift store. I got my pliers just in case I need a little help. The pliers are really nice. There's my reminder, my guide of where to put the needle through, and for this I'm using, it's not a blunt. Sometimes I use a blunt needle. This has got a very sharp point. They come in a package, and they're usually I use the blunt one, but I find that when I'm going through all these layers of fabric, it's a lot easier. So I'm going from the middle and then over to right next to it on the bottom, that hole, which is right there. I can see it from here. Yep, and you just kind of wiggle that through, keeping the thing folded so that it will come out in the same spot that you made originally, hopefully. And you have to not split the thread when you go through, and you have to leave enough so that it doesn't all the way go through. So then we're going to go back down to the last hole on the inside, come back out, and so far it's not as bad as I thought it would be. Now we're going to go down in the middle. I was originally going to try to hide the binding on the outside, but then it didn't work out because my binding was coming over top of the lace in some areas. So again, it's my perfectly imperfect. That doesn't mean that it's sloppy and no good. It just means it's just right, because this is a nice craft art project. There we go. Didn't split it, came up, and now I'm going to jump over the middle and go down to the bottom. I'm going to pull these up a little bit and make sure that I'm not losing the loop, which sometimes it's hard. It was this one, it started challenging me right here, because I had to keep looking at the directions up there that I made for myself from when I first learned how to do it. But it's basically a figure eight. That's how I kind of think of it. So I'm going through here, and then you want to check your the tension on the binding that you're doing, binding threads, and those pliers, that's what I use them for. And you have to sometimes trace back each from where you started. See, I just checked the loops there and it looks good. And then I'm coming through the top. I'm going to do the top loop now, which I may not be able to find here. And in that case, I just take the ice pick or the awl, whatever you want to call it, and I make the hole again, so that way I can have a better reference, because sometimes the cotton closes on you. So making that hole again, and then going through, coming back out, and when I come through here, that's when I'm going to check the tension on those back loops of the binding, and because I'm like I'm almost done here. So now I'll go down to the middle and not split those. So that's the middle. Now here is the flip. So I've got the back that is fastened with some kind of string. I guess that's what it's called, string. I'm still thinking about putting a fat ribbon on there, but I haven't decided to do that yet. I'm just thinking about it. So I'm going to show you what's inside this journal now. This is without the floating pocket. And then when we open this up, we're going to have watercolor paper there that you can use to experiment with making your own watercolor flowers. I just saw a nice video on a snapdragon that I wanted to try. I've got some embossed paper over here on the side, and it's a little tuck spot. I'm thinking seed packets. This graph paper, I'm thinking seeds, dates, times, time of plantings. So many things you can use. Pictures of your garden. So this journal can have so many uses. And little friends that help you, grandchildren, children. So we have pockets too for maybe receipts, how much you spent on your garden. I know I make multiple trips to the garden center, so I provided pockets for those kinds of things to save your mementos from the garden journey that you'll be on this year. Another tuck spot for your treasures. I have this 1913 center that now is a tuck area, but the paper is very fragile, so you'll have to be careful with that. I made a boo-boo. I should have unflipped it before I sewed it down. But now this is a little secret spot. Even there, you could even put something, you could even tuck something in there. I could see tickets, I could see receipts, and this blue flower is just, paper is really beautiful. And I've got some nice washi tape with different florals and some more embossed paper up here and some more little secret spots to put things, notes that you might want to write that maybe just pertain to the whole summer. I couldn't resist the pokey little puppy. Had to poke him in there. And some nice coffee baked paper. And a pocket. And that's it for a nice simple, it's about 14 inches tall by 14 inches wide, I want to say, when it's folded over. So there you have the secret garden. And for the second journal, I decided to do the front and back cover plain. This is a plain journal. Okay, so this is watercolor paper as well. So watercolor, anything can go on there. And the inside of this journal has multiple areas for journaling, decorating, whatever you want to do. I listed the other one in eBay, Bradsboots at eBay. I didn't list this one yet, but you could always message me, and I'm on Instagram. Now this is something that I had made for a previous journal, and it didn't make it in the journal for whatever reason. I found this is a perfect spot for it in this plain journal. This has everything in it. This actually has in this envelope, I planted these last year, dahlias, and they came out pretty good. I dug the tubers up, so they're going to go back in the ground again this year. So we have lots of places for journaling. Oop, I got a little paper tear from when I painted the gold on there. It stuck. I didn't wait long enough for it to dry, but that's easy fix. And these journals are going to have more ephemera in them. So this paper is another baked paper. I did some alcohol ink and put that on the coffee dyed paper. And then I found a Daphne's journal that had some nice gardening things in it from last year, and found perfect spots for them in here. This is the center, and this is from Daphne's diaries, not journals, Daphne diaries, and she wrote this in the book, and I left it in there because I just thought it was special. I love to read her things, and I love her handwriting or the font that's used, and left that in there for perfect spot for it. Some more scrapbook paper and just some floral washi tape and gardening pictures. Gardening everywhere. That's what I think of. Even though it's plain, it's got enough in there to make you feel like this could be a garden journal. Bradsboots, and this is the other half, a little cascade there from the pages before. And there we have a really nice journal. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and thanks for supporting me with a subscribe. Bye for now.